Hey everyone, Kyprotonic here with a Black 2 White 2 Wi-Fi battle against an opponent called Immortal from the Smogon Wi-Fi battle finder. Now looking at his team, nothing really stands out as a major threat. Most of his perks kind of will have to just be like thought processed a little bit more than I would normally like, just because I have things easily just to check them and I can work around them. But like nothing majorly stands out. But like if he were to get rid of some of my perks, then yeah, they would come into a little bit more of a threat. Like maybe the Landorus, Latias, and maybe the Infernape. But like Starmie, Magnezone, and Tyranitar are not a problem to deal with. I'm using this one rain team I use, I think, from like 2 battles ago. So without further ado, let's just get on with the game. Now thinking of what he would like to lead with, I thought maybe Tyranitar was a bit obvious. I could obviously lead with my obvious Politoed, so we both lead with like things that could actually check them from the start. So I led with Landorus, he led with Starmie. I predict Ice Beam on the first turn, so that's why I go to Ferrothorn. He probably could have gone straight into Magnezone, and actually at the time after the game he told me, oh, I should have gone straight into Magnezone because this thing was a pain in the ass. But now on the second turn he does go to Magnezone. I predict that, that's why I go to Landorus. I'm going to go for my Stealth Rock just because I want to get these up as soon as possible. Maybe his Starmie could be the Rapid Spinner. Usually is, but I'm not going to really care at the moment. Latias comes in. I'm not really too threatened by it just because I figured most Latiases these days are kind of like more Calm Mind. So I figured going for the U-turn would be a pretty nice move to do there. Now I go into Keldeo just to try and scare out the Latias, just on the off chance maybe he would do that. Or maybe just banning him to go into a move, something like maybe the Side Strike or Side Shock or whatever it's called. That's why I go into Ferrothorn just to see what he would like to try and do there. So, kind of good for me, yeah, that's what I do. In comes the Landorus. I somewhat predict maybe the HP Fire. I just want you to scout if maybe he actually has that, because on my Latias I actually do carry that of my own, so yeah. So, yeah, Landorus U-turns out and my Politoed goes back into the Latias. I go for the Scald, just hoping to probably potentially burn the Latias when it comes back in. But no, I'm going to now go for the Toxic, which is probably the better option at this point, just because considering that he is a Calm Mind set, Calm Mind and Recover is usually an option on the Latias. It could be Sub, but I doubt it now because I've probably seen like the majority of his set. So yeah, I'm kind of going to be stalling out the Latias at this point just to, see if I can rack up a lot of poison damage upon its HP. And to be honest, probably looking back on this battle, yeah, if I got rid of this Latias as soon as possible on the game-wise, a lot of my special sweepers will definitely have a much more favourable matchup on his side of the field. Just because I do have a Scarf Keldeo, and I know Latias, especially with a Calm Mind variant, is going to be easily taking all those Hydro Pumps and Ice Beams, etc. So yeah, I go back into Ferrothorn just to scout what he'd like to try and do. I was thinking he might go for his final move there, which is either like Dragon Pulse or something like that, so which he does in the end. So yeah, that's why I went back into my Ferrothorn just to see if that would be the case. And also, I just wanted to rack up a bit of poison HP on that Latias. So knowing that he want to probably preserve that for a little bit longer in the game, that's why I go for the U-turn there, whilst he switches out, goes into Infernape. And yeah, looking at it, probably nothing on his team, whilst my rain is up, really wants to take a Scarf Keldeo's Hydro Pump, especially when I'm in the rain. So now in comes the Tyranitar, finally he gets up his Sand. I don't want to stay in here, and I probably think he's going to go for either the Stealth Rock or maybe just go out for an attack, maybe predicting my switch, but probably likely he will go for the Stealth Rock, which he does. So I go back into Politoed just to get up the rain once again, which is good for me because, my team benefits more from the rain. Now I go for the Ice Beam, predicting the obvious switching to Latias, probably predicting my Scald there. That's why I do a decent amount of damage. I don't think I actually have any special attack investment, but it does a decent amount of damage. So at this point I thought maybe he would go for the Recover, maybe want to try and preserve the Latias a little bit longer in the game, but it turns out he is going to allow me to take it out with 2 Ice Beams in a row, which is great. So now in comes the Starmie. Now here I was playing a bit of mind games. I just wanted to see if it would go for the Thunderbolt. I'm not really too sure if it would carry the Thunderbolt because I don't really see Thunderbolt too often on the Starmie. Usually Rapid Spin. Oh, actually then again, Rapid Spin, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Side Strike, Hydro Pump. All those type of moves are usually common on the Starmie. So I just wanted to scout, just to see if he would actually carry that. So that's why At that point I go back into Ferrothorn. Maybe he could have predicted that if he wanted to play more super aggressive, which he probably should have done at this stage of the game, just because I'm somewhat playing the predictable moves. But you know, I have, I guess, the Weather Ward miniature advantage at the moment, and considering when the rain is up, most of my pokes are going to be threatening most of his team anyway. So yep, he goes for the U-turn while I brought back in the Politoed. I'm going to go for the Scald, hopefully get on the burn on the incoming Starmie. Turns out I don't. It would have been nice to get some residual damage up on that, but you know, I don't, so whatever. So I go for Protect again just to see if he wants to go for the Thunderbolt. Now he makes the correct play going into Magnezone whilst I brought in the obvious Ferrothorn. And to be honest, at this point I felt maybe Ferrothorn was kind of redundant to keep on my team, just because Latias is out of the way, and then obviously still has the Trapper of Magnezone. Infernape will easily take this out, maybe with close combat, etc. So just going to leave him Ferrothorn just to go down there. So now I'll go back into Keldeo. Looking at it again, nothing on his team really wants to take a Hydro Pump. So he brings in the Starmie, which I probably felt maybe he could have kept that around a little bit, maybe a few more turns. I would have probably sacrificed maybe the Magnezone at that point, just considering the Ferrothorn is out of the way. Maybe the Starmie could have been a little bit more useful to him, but then again I still have Scarf Keldeo, so I don't know. To be honest, looking at it now, overall the Scarf Keldeo is just probably a major problem to his team once his Latias goes down, so yeah. Tyranitar comes back in. I'm going to go back into Politoed just to set up the rain once again. Go for the Scald, hopefully get a burn, because that's what I'm trying to get here. Turns out I don't get a burn, so that's kind of bad for me, but whatever. Goes for another Crunch, almost takes me out, but I'm a defensive Politoed, so I know I can at least take one more hit. And yeah, Scald does take out the Tyranitar, so I do win the Weather War, but to be honest, even if his Sand was still up, I felt like enough in my team just to finish off the remainder of his perks. So in comes Landorus. I usually suspect them to be either the special or maybe the Scarf set now. So I think it turned out in the end that was actually an expert belted Landorus. So gonna go into Scarf Keldeo just to pretty much finish up on the game here. 2 Hydro Pumps is more than enough to finish off the battle. So great game, Immortal. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Goodbye.